Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here, answering your questions today. Today is a recruiting question. I'm on my way to a game, and I get this question a ton. It's actually probably the biggest mistake I see made in the recruiting process with players, and that's players being unrealistic about the level that they can play at and just targeting the wrong schools. So I would say when I talk to players, I'd say 99% of the players that I talk to, when I talk to them about where they want to go play and I have them make a list of schools for me, I'd say 99% of players are unrealistic with the schools that they're putting down. I'd say almost every player, probably again, 99% of players are going to have a list full of a ton of Division I schools, and then they're going to sprinkle in maybe a D2 school in there, and usually only a couple D3s, and that's if I tell them. Usually whenever I tell players to give me a list, I always say, don't just give me Division 1s, make sure you're giving me Division 2s and Division 3s. If I didn't say that, it might be 100% of players are going to list almost all Division I schools on the list. Now, here's the issue with that. Only about 1.5% or so of high school players end up playing at the Division I level. It's a very, very low number. And so here's the problem. If you are targeting only Division I schools or mostly Division I schools, well, then you could be wasting valuable time, energy, effort on the completely wrong list, right? So if you're continually pushing and trying to go D1 and that's not the right fit for you, well, then you may miss out on some really good opportunities at Division II and Division III level. What I see happen a lot is a lot of players want to go Division I, and when Division II and IIIs reach out to them, which are probably the best fits for them, they end up either not answering or telling those schools they're not interested, or they don't take it serious until way at the end of the process when they finally realize that they're not going to go Division I. And by that time, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes they miss out on those opportunities. So it is super important. This, again, the number one problem I see, the number one issue is players thinking they can play at a level that's unrealistic, and they miss out on opportunities that are realistic. So, I don't want play. Whenever I say this, people are like, "Oh, you're telling me I can't? I shouldn't shoot high to play at a school that I really want to." No, I'm not saying that at all. Like, you can shoot to play wherever you want, but you have to do so while being realistic. And when the information is coming back to you to say, "Hello, you're not looking at the right schools," you have to be able to adjust and be able to move on to some other schools. So, here's a couple ways to know if you're targeting the wrong schools, okay? First is, what kind of feedback or what type of communication are you doing with schools? So if no Division I schools are reaching out to you, if you're not getting any phone calls at all from any Division I schools, then Division I schools are probably not interested in you. If you're getting just emails and come to my camp, like that at the Division I level, that is probably not a sign that you are getting recruited by them. It's not a sign at all. So for me, real interest, genuine interest from a school at the Division I level is going to be when they pick up the phone and call you, or if you are not a junior yet, if they're going to call your coach, your summer ball coach, your high school coach, and say, "Hey, have this guy call me." When that happens, that means they're interested. Okay, now you have Division I interest. You have legitimate, genuine interest from the school. So many guys come up to me and say, "I really want to go to these schools," and I emailed them, and they said that I could go to their camp. Like, you could go to the camp and do well, and they may be interested, but I wouldn't go by that as genuine interest. They can send that to anybody, okay? And that's where players get confused sometimes. I'll say, who you're talking to? And they say, "Well, I got 5, 6 camp invites from these schools." But that's not genuine interest. And sometimes the players think it is, and now they spend all their time on those schools because they think they're interested when they're really not interested, all right? So that's a really, really big thing, is see who's reaching out to you, especially if schools are watching you. All right, like in our schedule, we have lots of schools at all of our games watching us. If they're not reaching out to us after they watch us throughout the summer, then that's a sign that we probably don't fit at that level. Okay, and that's okay. It's about finding the right fit. Right? The right fit, not the best fit, not like the coolest fit, not where I want to wear the sweatshirts and put the bumper stickers on my car and be able to tweet like so thankful or great. What do they say? I don't know what they say. So grateful to get my D1, D1 school to call me. It's not about that. It's about finding the right fit for you, where you can go and play, have fun, get a great education, all that stuff. All right, because again, it's a 40-year decision. It's not a 4-year decision. You're going to go someplace, and in the end, you're going to get the degree. I mean, that's the big thing that matters. Very few players are going to move on and play professional baseball, and even if you do, very few are going to play for more than a year. All right, so that's one way to do it. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there. Okay, the other thing is to be able to get somebody that can give you some insight, that can watch you play and tell you where you fit. Okay, so somebody that's sent players to those schools before. Maybe that's your high school coach who's moved players on. Maybe that's your summer ball coach. Maybe it's, maybe it's an uncle that, well, maybe not an uncle. Uncle will usually tell you the greatest thing ever. But find somebody that can be honest with you, okay? And I'll be honest, that's one of my roles and one of my jobs, and it can be tough sometimes. And I try to be as honest as I can with players. You don't want, like I said, you don't want players wasting their time. So what I usually do is I usually tell the players kind of where I think they fit, and I give them some time if they, if they desperately want to go play at a Division I school, I give them some time to look at those schools, and we see the interest. And if there's no interest, then I tell them, like, it's time to move on. Like, this is where you fit best. Stop wasting time at schools that you don't have a chance to play, that aren't realistic for you. It's just a waste of time. Okay, so find that person, hopefully that can help you out a little bit, give you some guidance, someone that's been there before, and that will be honest with you, and not someone just that you're paying money to try to tell you, yeah, you're a D1 player, even if you're not a Division I player. Okay, so hopefully this all makes a little bit of sense and will help you guys out. Again, it's the biggest issue I see. I'm actually on the way to a game right now, and we're going to have this talk again with our players to try to, we're getting to the point now in the summer where it's starting to get a little bit late, and the D1 train has kind of left the station, or almost completely left the station, and it's time for some guys to turn their attention to some other schools or some different divisions. There's no problem with that. That's one of the biggest things. Find the school that is the right fit for you. All right, so let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, share the video with all your friends, all that good stuff. Check out the description box below. We've got a bunch of stuff down there. We've got a deal going on with Plate Crate. You click on the link, type in Antonelli, get 50% off your first Plate Crate. We also have our Patreon page where you can support the channel and a bunch of other stuff, so go and do all that. And that's all I got. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.